You're not paranoid.
We should have started like that, like harmonizing. Are you even doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, can you do it louder? That was a good one. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Yay. I like that. Should we open our Cokes?
Ooh, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Diet Coke.
They don't sponsor us.
All right, should we
Yeah.
do this? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Wait, listen to the bubbles. I wonder how that picks up on the mic. Probably not great.
Welcome.
Welcome. This is Kylie.
And I'm Katie.
And we are... Okay, this is You're Not Paranoid.
Hello.
No, you're supposed to say it's a podcast.
Oh.
So, hey, where You're Not Paranoid.
A podcast.
Where we talk about freaky, weird things
Freaky.
that really happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we get called paranoid for caring about it. So, but the thing is, it really happens. And today's topics are extra terrifying.
Very scary.
And you know what? It's funny. My boyfriend brought this up to me today. He's like, you know, you're not, like, you are worried about these things. I'm like, uh-huh. And he's like, so the thing, like, your podcast is making people more worried, like, more paranoid. I'm like, yeah, but we're trying to say that they have the right to be worried.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you're not, we're not, the podcast is not called You're Not Worried. The podcast is called You're Not Paranoid. Which the point is they're justified. So we're trying to change that stigma behind feeling bad for caring.
Mm-hmm.
Or
ashamed.
Or ashamed or like feel
guilty.
like they can't.
Yeah.
Because everywhere I go that we bring this up, people got a story.
Mm-hmm.
That I wouldn't believe some of the stories unless I heard it firsthand.
Wow.
So whenever we're going to cover bikes out at some point, and a lady told me a crazy horrific story about her riding a bike and something happened.
Really?
So, but not today. That's our teaser. We should maybe do that next episode.
Ooh.
Today, I don't know what the theme would be called. What do you?
Hiding.
Hiding.
Not hiding in plain. Well.
Hide and found.
Hide and oops, I found you.
Hide and killed.
Ooh. Yeah.
No. Hide and not sought after, but found. Hide and found.
We weren't playing hide and seek, but you still hid and I still found you.
So they're really bad. Okay. So my topic of the day is about killers / people in the backseat of cars.
That is so scary.
Basically, oh yeah. So not just people in general. It's like people you're not expecting to be in the backseat of the car. Ooh, I don't have that, but that would be scary. First, I'm going to talk about it's like a common car crime urban legend.
Ooh.
And it's literally called the killer in the backseat.
Mm-mm.
And it's mostly known like in the US and the UK. So this is from Wikipedia. And it was first noted by folklorist Carlos Drake in 1968. The legend goes that a woman is driving. It's always a woman because they're victimizing her. But anyways, she's driving at night. And I feel like we'll be familiar with the story because that's why it makes it an urban legend. But anyways, so she's driving at night and she's being followed by a truck. The mysterious person driving behind her starts flashing their high beams, tailgates her. Sometimes they even, like when people tell the story, they like hit her car, like bumper.
Ooh.
And of course, like the girl's panicking, freaking out, like what is this person doing? Like why are they trying to get my attention? And of course you're like, it's like nighttime on a road in the country.
Yeah.
2-lane road, no lights, no signals, that kind of thing. So when she gets home, she realizes that the driver behind her was actually trying to warn her about someone hiding in the back seat. And each time that the man sat up in the back seat, the car behind her was like honking and trying to get her attention. Like there's someone back there. And she didn't know until she got home and then, ends up finding him or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that story end?
So, okay. I think I think what they're trying to say is that there's a lot of versions out there of like that type of scene.
Yeah.
Where people will tell that story like, okay, there was this woman, she was driving, and maybe she gets home, like the murderer tries to get her, but she realizes that whole time when she thought that the person driving behind her was the murderer or killer, it turns out they were trying to warn her about the person in her backseat.
That's
who was
creepy.
there the whole time.
And they can see down into the car.
Right, because they're like a truck and they're like higher. I'm picturing like a
semi.
Honda Civic that's like, like
old. A little.
Yeah, kind of like one of those square ones. And maybe like a big old truck driving. And then you think, I don't know, when I see like an off-roading kind of like.
But what was he doing hiding in the car and popping up?
It's an urban legend.
I have questions.
To see what they're about. That makes it an urban legend. But there's other versions. Okay. So there's another one where a woman stops to get gas. She's at a gas station. And she goes into the gas station to pay for gas. This is back in the day. She goes to the gas station to get gas. And she pays. She goes back outside. And it's one of those gas stations where I think like the cashier has like a window so they can see what's going on at the gas station. And over the loudspeaker, because there's loudspeakers at gas stations apparently, he goes over the speaker and he's like, ma'am, like come back inside, like your car didn't go through, need you to come back in. She's like, all right. Goes back in. He's like, ma'am, this is really scary, but there is a man in the backseat of your car.
Ew.
And I've already called the police, but I can tell that, he doesn't like you don't know he's in there. Ew. And like, that's pretty much the premise of that. And he's like, and I've called the police. They're on their way, but don't go back out there. Stay inside before he, gets you, kind of thing. And that rendition was seen in the 1998 episode of Millennium.
I don't know.
The Pest House. Never heard of it. Just reading the example. Maybe someone has. And there's like other ones where like maybe the woman's just driving late at night. Same concept. Sees like a doll in the middle of the road or something like that. Stops to pick up the doll. Guy gets in the back of the car.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying there's different versions of the urban legend where someone is getting into the back of the car. Because this is such a frightening concept, right? Yes. Like when I get in my car, I'm always like, that's one of the first things I look is behind my seat. Because I think it's really terrifying. Anywho. Oh yeah, so in all of those urban legends, part of the setup of it is that she always thinks the person who's the messenger letting her know that there's a creeper in the back seat, she thinks that person is trying to get her. So she usually doesn't like trust them at first. Like the guy driving behind her. I'm picturing like kind of a rugged looking like truck. Kind of gnarly, like I'm not stopping for this guy.
Yeah, you're not gonna stop.
No, of course not. And if they're trying to like bumping you with a car, but in reality they're like trying to save her life. But you never know nowadays.
Yeah,
it's a timeless legend. Apparently, in pop culture, there have been many references to this. In Halloween in 1978. This happens where the character Annie Brackett is killed when she goes in the car and killer Mike Myers sneaks up from behind the back seat and slashes her throat. Ugh. So I think a lot of these two are from movies. Yeah. So it's they're like tied together. So the urban legend itself came out in the late 60s, and then that movie Halloween is from 1978. So they probably got it from there, but it's inspired them. That sounded so like fluffy, but you know what I mean. And there's some other ones on Wikipedia where they go into it. But just that, you've seen the movies that happens. There's always like a killer behind them or something like that. Yeah,
there's always those like cop dramas where like the bad guy is like finds the police officer or detective or something. And they always get in their car and then they like put a gun to their head or something.
Exactly. Same exact concept. So I wrote killer in the car, but so maybe there's more examples if you Google like that concept. But this is what I got. And of course, if you guys know more,
let us know.
Let's see here. So I went on Snopes because I was curious. Like, I know Wikipedia says it's an urban legend, but Snopes knows everything. Snopes. Nopes? I was trying to say like nose. No. Anywho. And they have designated it correctly as a legend. part of the reason this urban legend has been gotten around so much is that people share those emails.
Oh, back in the day, those emails
where you're like, forward this to 5 friends, or a girl will haunt you tonight and murder you.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Sorry,
or like this email chain has been going on for like blah blah blah, and
since internet was invented. Yeah,
keep it going.
Exactly. So those. Sorry, I'm like reading this email. It's from Snopes. The email's not from Snopes, but there's an example of like what one of those emails would be. And it's saying like, oh, there's a report that there's a new gang initiation to bring back a woman and or her car, and that's why the guys were like getting into her car. And one way that they're doing this is that while she's pumping gas or she's at the grocery store, they'll crawl under the car, and then while they're doing, like, they unlock the car, they climb in the back seat, or they slip into the unattended cars and then end up kidnapping the woman when they get there. It's like, please pass this on to other women, young and old alike. Which is kind of sad that you have to specify, like, also the old women. Like, yes.
We care about the old women,
guess. What about men? Like, them too. Anywho, all of the people. Be extra careful going to and from your car at night. If at all possible, don't go alone. That's impossible, but okay. And then, this is real! Exclamation point. The message. Okay. So they also have a breakdown message. 1, always lock your car doors, even if you're gone for just a second.
That's true.
Number 2, check underneath your car when approaching it for re-entry, and check in the back before getting in. So you're like, up, down, up, down. Which I think these last few are like, okay, I agree. Like, you should do these things anyways. Always be aware of your surroundings and of other individuals in your general vicinity, especially at night.
Yep. And
send this to everyone so your friends can take precaution. And guys, you tell any woman you know about this. Thanks. And apparently this was from Barbara Baker, the Secretary Directorate of Training, U.S. Army Military Police School.
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah. So that's what's kind of funny about these, is that they're so believable that people in higher authority are sharing them, thinking that they're real. But there's not a ton of true experiences of these that I found.
That's good.
And Snopes says... ? Yeah. I mean, it is. It's good. But it is based on that urban legend. And then there obviously could be copycats. True. And then movies will show you. So then when you see it in the movies is like a reflection of real life. I mean, a lot of it's for entertainment. But it's 100% possible.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. The point is that even though it seems super believable, it's technically an urban legend.
Ooh, because that's good to know.
Yeah. So until people start doing it. Because I feel like in general, and actually I'll just continue because these are kind of along the same lines. And I included this because I feel like a lot of people have heard this too.
Uh-oh.
So, that that was circulating around the internet as well, where, and I think it still is, where people are like, oh, if you get in your car and you see like money or a flyer on your back window or on your windshield and you're alone, especially, like, don't get out of the car, go check out what it is and get it, because something can happen, or it's like a scam, or like something's happening. So the title of this is, Are Carjackers Leaving Flyers and $100 Bills on Car Windows? False.
Ooh. I thought there was one real one.
So far, Snopes says that this is not true.
Cool.
And that there have been forms of a carjacking alert that have been going around the internet since at least February 2004.
Oh, wow.
They are typically described as a form of automobile theft, like Grand Theft Auto, rather than a form of carjacking, which is more like hurting
violence?
them. Yeah, violence. Okay. So yeah, this is like one of the emails. So this is like another example of the emails. Imagine you walk across the parking lot, unlock your car, and get inside.
Yep.
Then you lock all your doors, start the engine, and shift into reverse.
Yes.
What? What's reverse? I'm just kidding. Habit.
Back in my day.
No, this is literally, you shift into reverse. Habit.
Wait, that
You
really
look into
says
the
that?
rear view mirror. I would not say habit.
I
Of
don't
course, it's a
know.
habit to go into reverse and look in your
'Cause-
rear view mirror.
Because that's how you drive.
I hope, unless you're always reversing when you park. I mean, like you.
I don't believe
So then when
in
you're
reversing.
leaving, you're just clip, put, and drive. Anyway.
Yeah, true.
So you look into the rearview window to back out of your parking space, and you notice a piece of paper, some sort of advertisement stuck to your rear window. So you shift into park,
Good.
unlock
call.
your doors, and jump out of your vehicle to remove that paper or whatever it is that is obstructing your view. When you reach the back of your car, this is when the carjackers jump out of nowhere, jump into your car, and take off. Your engine was running, your purse is in the car, and they practically mow you down as they speed off in your car.
But
How are they in
The-
reverse? I was just thinking
I
about
was like,
that.
there's, I mean,
Okay, but you see how there are some. It's a little off. Like at first, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I've never thought about that."
yeah,
Like-
I have a few questions about that
Okay.
whole scenario.
It says, "Beware of this new scheme. Just drive away, remove the paper that is stuck to your window later, and be thankful that you read this email and that you forwarded it to your friends." So
It probably those looking back probably all just had a bunch of viruses in them.
probs by the carjackers who
Yeah.
then would like enter your life. And
Yeah.
anyways, they took it to the next level. They're like, instead of actually carjacking, let's just hijack their lives
Their computers.
via computers.
So like most of the time if you have pulled in that manner, wouldn't you be approaching your car from the rear, like in a parking lot?
Wait, I'm
And
sorry, I was distracted.
No. So like they're saying that you're in your car and you have to reverse out of the parking spot. So most of the time you walk down the aisle that your car is in. You don't
Right.
cut across. So you would be walking past the back of your car in
Assuming
the
you
first
don't
place.
see your car back.
But it's big enough for you to
I kn- it's-
obscure your
It's probably
view.
more like they're probably trying to imply you get out because something's back there.
Mm.
And it's like, there's a lot wrong with this story. But as we
Don't do
see,
it.
this is what's circulating. I mean,
Mhm.
it makes sense. The retold version, I think there's cleaned up versions that people have like, let's make this more believable because they want to make it,
Mhm.
I don't think people are doing it on purpose. I think once it starts,
Yeah.
that's what urban legends are, right? Is kind of like a old school creepypasta.
Yeah.
It's like just believable enough that you're like,
exactly.
oh my gosh, this is real.
Yeah.
We have to do this.
Yeah, I've heard the like gang initiation version of that one, I think, where there's like a shirt or something on the front,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you go to like take it off, they either get you or the
Mhm.
car or both. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like a group of people.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I think I can double check before we say this, but I'm pretty sure that one was also like not verified. Like the person has a picture of the clothing
Oh,
from
yeah, but
inside the
it's like-
windshield, so it's like, is this real or not real?
We're just trying to get some publicity.
Because it's working.
Now everyone's scared.
Everyone's so scared. So anywho, this email. Oh yeah, and then it went on to like say like, here's the picture of the money, like here, like, and it has a picture of like the fake $100 bill.
Oh,
it
it
could
wasn't
be-
real?
It could be money, it could be this. It's not, the person's not
Mm.
putting a real money in there.
I wish it was, because then if you notice it on your way into
Like,
your car,
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
mine.
So there's like this whole, and that's why it's kind of like lying. If there's too many details,
Yeah.
they're probably making something up. That's what it just feels like. But
Yeah.
a lot of people believed it. Get this. So
Uh-oh.
let's see. So there are a lot of versions of this kind of thing that circulated.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually sent by a man named Sergeant Granell from the Illinois State Police.
Like for real? Or
For real.
that's just who they said?
No,
Oh.
it really happened.
Oh, wow.
So he sent that. He got that email and he sent it to his daughters. I read this earlier, so I'm just gonna keep going with this. He sent it to his daughters from his work address
Oh, no.
by mistake instead of his personal email. And because it was from the state police to his daughters, they thought it was an official statement. Like,
Oh.
everybody beware, and then it had his like signature and
Mhm.
everything. So see, I mean, I would think it's super
Yeah.
official. So then his daughter, like, you know, they freaked out, tell their friends, everyone tells everyone.
Wow.
And here we have it spreading across the world. And I've heard it. My best friend told me the story. She's like, there's this thing that's happening. My friend's dad got this email.
Dang.
So it's funny because it's full circle. I had heard about this, and that's why I actually Googled it, like, like how many times does this happen? Thinking it's a real thing, and it turns out it's technically not.
Wow.
So Snopes says that ever since the warnings hit the internet, they've been following news reports for any documented instances of actual car theft, either perpetrated or even attempted, that followed the script of this type of email caution, and they haven't found one.
Really? Because I would feel like at least people would try.
Now that,
even if they only were trying because they heard of that.
but ironically, wouldn't that not work? Because people know it.
Yeah, but I mean,
you know, maybe someone was like, I'm gonna get on top of this before they do.
True.
That's what they say, right? Think like a killer. Think like a car theft person.
A thefter? I've not heard of that, but
Well, if you think of like,
that makes
okay,
sense.
if you
Like what
not like killing people, but like how
they
would want to victimize you by doing something bad. Think about
Or
like, what they would think about in that way. Am I wording that right?
Yeah. Like
so then you're ahead of like the game.
Like, when am I most vulnerable?
Yeah. And so the police department, or another police department, because this was circulating, people were freaking out, in Missouri, posted a denial claim on their website about a different, I think this is about a different police department as well, saying that they made this statement.
Oh, no.
And it was like Chief William Carabas of the, I'm going to butcher this, the Florissant Police Department wants to make... No, it's not fluorescent. It's in Missouri. Wants to make the public aware of an erroneous email circulating in reference to auto thefts, specifically carjacking incidents in the city. I want to put an end to this rumor. There have been no incidents of this nature. The email makes reference to many false claims. And I think what was happening is people were basically tailoring the email to be specific to their city or to their like their area. So that's where this particular city was like, we need to stop the panic because this isn't actually happening. And then poor people are probably trying to put flyers on, like local businesses putting flyers on the cars and like, you're trying to kill me.
Yeah, it's like on the corner of blah 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 and blah blah blah, like the grocery store.
Yeah. So Snopes like got pretty passionate about this one. They like kind of break it down quite a bit, where they say like why, like this doesn't even make sense.
That's cool.
Yeah, they said that carjackings are crimes of opportunity by people who need like quick cash or a youngster who's out for a thrill. That's how you know someone older wrote this. Or they're participating in some rite of passage, like you mentioned, like a gang initiation. That's real carjacking. Carjackers tend to hang around places where people have to get out of their cars, like intersections, gas stations, car washes, ATMs, freeway on and off ramps.
Do you say intersections? People have to get out of their car at intersections?
Well, they stop. Sorry, I think I said get out, but I did say that. That was their first example, was intersections for people where they have to stop and I forgot the or. Stop or exit their vehicle.
I was like, what? Like where? Like if you are stopped at a light, that's when. Like,
well,
if
that is more
could,
real.
Yeah, that's more real.
That's more real than the $100.
Oh, that's scary.
Thing happening. Oh geez, there are a lot of things about intersections.
Why?
It's where things happen.
Don't stop.
No.
At a red light.
That is so weird.
Just
okay, kidding. I need to find where I found this, but I'm just gonna tell you my memories of the story. She was she was at the intersection. It was late at night. She was by herself, coming home from something like very innocent, like piano practice or something like that. And she's approached by like gang members, and they go. I think it was like she usually has her car doors locked, but she didn't.
No.
And I think she tried to lock her door, but then they got into the passenger seat and basically abduct her right then and there.
Jeez.
Where if anyone was driving by, they would have seen it. But because it was late at night, she was alone.
That's when my piano practices are always late at night.
Sorry, your piano practices
are always late at night.
I'm saying that it was not like she was out partying is my point. It was
But it would be okay if she was.
Yeah. But don't drink and drive.
No. I mean, you can party hard without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying.
Scary. And that's a true one.
This is where my brain is so frustrated.
False memory.
Dang it. I'm pretty sure it was either My Favorite Murder. I read it online, or it was Those Who Fight Monsters.
Yeah, I still haven't read that. I need to though.
I technically didn't read it. I listened to it, but it was really good. But yeah, so those other things are more likely to happen than.
That's scary.
Yeah, which I think are way scarier.
Yeah, especially if it's like traffic and you're stopped, so it's not like you could just drive away.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing with that girl. I was like, honey, like I wish she would have just driven away.
Yeah.
But I'll have to find the story. I'm not gonna do it right this second. And then it's cool because Snopes also goes on to be a little bit sassy, which I love. And they're like running. I'm gonna do it with a sassy tone. Running around parking lots, sticking flyers on windshields, and then hanging around to wait for drivers to return to their vehicles involves planning and exposure, atypical of most carjackers.
Yeah.
They're most likely to approach occupied vehicles, particularly luxury cars with high resale value, and force drivers out by threatening them with weapons and or physically pulling them out of their seats.
Yeah.
Versus imagine they're like
time.
And the risk, like you said, of them finding it before they get in the car. It's just none of it really
then
makes.
You waited 5 hours for nothing.
Yeah. And you could be someone could see you putting it. It's just a lot of it doesn't make sense. But that's not to say that other creepy things in terms of the backseat have happened.
Yeah, I feel like that still has to have happened.
It has. I have some examples.
Okay.
It's not all urban legend.
Okay.
But it's
Most.
I just wanted to start with that so that we know it's not like that's where that idea comes from, like why we're all afraid of it, because it has been told forever.
Okay.
And even the other thing, the dollar, flyers or money, and it's fake money, so it's sad too.
Yeah, because also, would you ever believe that someone would just put money on your car for no reason?
No, but I think I'm not really talking to us people. I wish there was other people listening right now.
Ooh, someone left me money.
Yeah, because some people are not aware that these things can happen. And these actually, the whole gas station story kind of reminded me of episode 1.
That's what I was gonna say.
And I was kind of feeling like sentimental. I'm like, oh, 9 episodes later. Oh yeah, this is episode 10, right?
No, this is 11.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Bummer. Okay. Crashing down. 10 episodes later. Okay, so this is a story from February 7th, 2017 in Pennsylvania.
Ooh, whoop, whoop.
Allentown.
Ooh, I know where that is.
So, this was covered by ABC 6. What's the difference between 6 and 7? Eyewitness News. Anyways, a woman received quite a scare.
Oh no. When
she found a guy in the backseat of her car. So she's a 22-year-old. Her name's Reagan Landis. Noticed that when she was leaving for work, she saw a police officer walking in her neighborhood.
That's not good.
A few weeks. So this happened. When this is reported, happened a few weeks ago. Anyways, so she's going to work, sees a policeman walking around, like, doesn't think much of it, and gets in her car to go to work. So she's driving. A few miles into her drive, a man starts talking to her from the backseat of her car.
No.
Just starts talking. Can you imagine, like, okay, so this is her quote. It says, and he's just trying to make everything okay by telling me a story about how, I was chased by these thugs and I had to hide in here. And that's why the cop was there looking for him. So it turns out that this 43-year-old guy, his name's Alan.
Town?
That's funny. I didn't pick that up. I knew it seemed familiar, but I didn't pick it up. It's spelled different, but yeah.
Oh.
Alan Ongiri ran from the officers during a traffic stop and then hid in her car.
For 3 weeks?
No. When she's telling the story, I think it happened. This whole thing happened 3 weeks prior.
Oh, the whole thing. Okay, I thought you meant
I'm not
like
going to lie. This article is super short and not the best written, and there's no follow-up that I could find.
Wow.
So, but, you know, you get what you work with what you got.
Thanks,
you get what you get.
Thanks, Allentown.
You get what you get. You don't throw a fat. Anywho, luckily when he was in her car, she convinced him to let her drop him off at an inn.
Police station.
We're going to go to this drive-through. You can get some snacks. It's called the police stop. Yeah, but it's kind of weird that it was during a traffic stop that he was able to run away.
Yeah.
All of it is confusing. But the point is, can you imagine driving and someone's like, hey, like, how do you start that conversation? Like, don't scream. It's like, what are you doing back there?
Well, because what's worse, like just talking from your hiding spot or like popping up and be like, hey, because then you like could very likely cause an accident.
Yeah, and you're driving.
Well, yeah, I mean like the guy, like he must have thought like, what do I do first? Because I also don't want to die.
And I can tell right away because I want her to zone out. Was he buckled? So many questions. Can you imagine just like getting in your car and hearing a buckle like
ready to go?
Yeah, like here we go. Like look back there, like what are you doing? Get out.
That is awful.
Okay, so we're about to get a little bit more awful.
No.
A lot more awful. So this is in 2013 in Chicago. So this 26-year-old woman was at the gas station. It's always a gas station. See, I was onto something in episode 1 because bad things happen at gas stations because you don't go there expecting bad things to happen. You're getting your gas and you're getting out.
Everyone does it except for Tesla people.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say except for people without cars.
Well, them too.
Anyways, so this woman was getting gas and she was paying inside. So she didn't. She was inside, and the man hid inside the minivan.
Okay. So it does happen.
It does happen, and he revealed. But this is interesting. He revealed himself as she drove away, and that he forced her to drive to various locations. But it was really sad. So she had to drive him to these locations. He said that he had a knife, and that he would hurt her, but at no point did she see it. So it doesn't necessarily mean he did. And but if you're being told to have if you can't see, you're driving and they're behind you, like.
Yeah, because you don't really want to provoke him, like, show me.
Yeah.
And then like, okay.
That's me. The stab noises.
The stab noise.
That's interesting stab noises. I hope that I'd never hear that. But I feel like in the moment you're in shock. Like you will do what they say because you don't want to be hurt or killed. So he ended up stopping at one of the locations, like in an alley, and he dragged her to the back of the van and sexually assaulted her, which I believe she was raped. And then he forced her to drive to an ATM machine and get him cash. He then left her in her vehicle and ran away. And of course she called the police, and people were interviewed around the area, and of course everyone was shocked. And Carol Sanford said, as soon as I get out of my car, I lock my door. Even if I pump gas, I always make sure I only lock. When I press the unlock button, I only unlock my driver door. It doesn't unlock the whole door unless I press it twice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carol. So do I.
Same.
That's like a nice life hack. But the creepy part is that an employee at the gas station said that the surveillance cameras actually captured it happening. Where the man checked several car doors before getting into her van.
So he was gonna do.
I think it was opportunity. I think he probably was looking for money, and then she's a woman, so
he would have done this. Like he still would have. He wasn't looking like targeting a woman.
I don't know if he was targeting her specifically. It was more like, her car is unlocked. It's a van. There's a lot more places to hide. That's one perk of like a smart car is there's not really a lot of places to hide. I mean, but then again, there's Ted Bundy who hid bodies. So anyways, and his little beetle. So they described she described him to the police, and he hadn't been found.
Yikes. Where was this?
This is Chicago.
Oh.
She described him like he was wearing a black ski mask.
Oh.
And with like a rectangle opening for his eyes. Long sleeved Chicago Bulls shirt. So you know he's a local.
He's a basketball player.
He had black and gray jeans and a dark blue or black varsity style jacket with horizontal stripes on the sleeves. And the jacket had white lettering. At first I thought it said glittery. White lettering on the front and design in white on the back. I feel like that's awfully specific. And if this is like, I'm sorry, but if this is not advice to people who are bad, but you'd think that someone knows someone with all of those things.
Yeah.
That's like very, very specific, but like the ski mask is going to protect your identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's pretty gutsy to be doing that in public at a gas station. Like, did he already have the ski mask on? If you saw someone crawling around the gas station wearing a ski mask, like, I hope you would say something. Yeah.
And I feel like stuff happens at gas stations, as we've learned, but they usually always have surveillance cameras. So I don't know why you would want to risk being caught on camera.
Because people are dumb.
True. And
they probably don't think it's recording. And sometimes they're not recording. Yeah. Or it's only recorded for like a week. You know what I mean? And then it gets taped over kind of thing. I feel like that's maybe like more old school. But anyways. So it's still never found. So if anyone has information, go to the Chicago police. Sheesh. But that was a while back. I have one more story, and this is my mom's story, which makes it more fun.
Oh, no.
Because my mom's cool.
Is she okay?
She's okay. But this story, again, some of the things I hear from family and friends, they've never told me until I ask them about specific things. Because I feel like people don't go around, unless you're you or me, go around just like starting conversations about these things. Because it's kind of, we like being a little bit scared, and it's fun to hear because it seems so unbelievable, but they're real. So anyways, you guys get the point. So my mom's work, her and like a lot of the employees there, when they go on lunch break, they sit in their cars, just kind of get out of the office. One day she was sitting in her car, and she said she always keeps, I'm like, this is why I am the way I am. She's like, I always keep the windows cracked, but just enough so that no one can stick their hand in there. Yeah. You know, unless they had like Go-Go Gadget Pinocchio hands or something like that. But you get it. Like regular people can't get their hands in there. And where she works is kind of a rural, not great area. Yuck. So she knows like when she goes to and from work, you know, there's homeless people or who are, you know, get in trouble a lot in that area specifically. Yeah. She's in her car kind of like taking a little, you know, shut eye? I was going to say closed eye.
You know, a little closed eye.
A little shut eye. She hears someone yelling.
Oh, no.
Like, get the F out of here. You know, like that kind of thing. So she like wakes up like, what is happening? And I don't think she was sleeping, but just kind of like relaxing. Yeah. And she looks, and there's this guy in a truck like couple spots down. And she sees him yelling at a homeless person who's walking away from the car. And so she like yells over. She's like, oh, it's like to the guy yelling. She's like, oh, like, are you okay? Like, what happened? He's like, this guy just tried to get in my car while I'm sitting here parked. Like, he actually, I think he said that he actually like opened the door. Jeez. While he's sitting there. He's like, get the hell, like, what are you doing? Get out. And then the homeless person just,
oh, my bad,
nonchalantly walks away like nothing happened. My mom's like, thank the Lord I keep my doors locked. But it really, you know, startled her because that guy was just right there, and like all the yelling and commotion. Yeah. And it's a man. It's not even like, I feel like women are generally targeted more than men. But it's like a man is sitting in his truck.
Just want to have lunch with him.
Just want to chill out. So then my mom's like, okay, that's weird. Kind of scary. So she's walking back to the office and she runs into a fellow coworker who she told me she like cracks up because this guy is known for keeping all his windows down during his lunch break. He will kick back in the back seat, like feet up, like take a like full on snooze, like pass out. I feel like guys fall asleep faster than girls, but anyways, that's just me. But like feet out the window, totally stretched out, relaxed. So my mom runs into this guy and she's like, oh no, I have to tell him because that just happened to someone else and their windows were up. So of course it could happen to him. So she's like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe it. And he's like, oh no, guess what? I already took my lunch. I was sitting in my car, like taking a snooze like he does every single day with the windows down. And he's in the back seat sleeping.
Yeah, that's not great.
Not great to begin with. This same guy opens the driver. Oh yeah, sorry. And his car is running because the AC is on.
Come on, man.
The AC is on.
Okay, so it wouldn't matter if he even wait, why is he running the AC if all the windows are down?
I don't know.
Dude.
He's not thinking straight. Not thinking straight.
So it wouldn't even matter if he locked his car.
I was just realizing you can just, quickly,
not cool. Not safe.
Unlock the car. Unsafe. But he's a dude, and I don't know. Sometimes I think that's like a thing that think they're invincible. Or this particular guy thinks he's invincible. Invisible. Probably invisible
Both,
too.
Yeah.
Invisible and invincible. That would be a great combination. Anyways.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not going to believe it. I hear someone get into my car.
No.
I open my eyes, and the homeless man in the front seat turns around, looks at me, and says, hey, I know you. And the guy, my mom's colleague, freaks out, jumps out of the car on the opposite side, not on the same side. So he goes to the passenger side of the back seat, jumps out of the car, has his socks on only because his shoes are off, steps in a puddle, which is just like a sad thing to be in socks and step in a puddle.
Yeah.
He's like, get out of my car, like freaking out, like you need, like get out, like what are you doing? So the homeless guy gets out of his car, walks off. That dude goes inside to like, call the police and report him and do all that. Meanwhile, he's inside doing that. He goes to that truck, which then alerts my mom. So this whole thing had already happened by the time that she was even aware of it.
Wow.
So my mom's like, thank heavens I keep my car door locked.
Yeah.
Especially even just chilling out in a work, and it's a gated parking lot. So like technically anyone on foot can just walk through. Oh. But people who are driving, like they can't. You need like a key card. But like you still would, I think you would feel like a little bit safe because you feel like you're in a like more restricted parking lot surrounded by people Yeah. But no. It didn't matter, and it didn't stop him that people were yelling at him because he just kept going.
But that's, best case scenario, or he just seemed like he just genuinely wanted to sit in someone's car with them.
And it said he knew people.
And when he was told to leave, he just like, okay.
They don't want me here.
Gets out of the car.
I will go into a car that the person wants me here.
I will find someone that will want to sit and chat with me.
Oh, and then he and then before the police actually arrived, he continued to go opening other car doors until he could find more. So people do that. And it's not crazy. And my mom saw it firsthand, and I believe my mom. So like she wouldn't just tell me this.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it freaked her out quite a bit.
That's scary.
And of course she felt vindicated for all of her fears.
Yeah.
That she has passed down for many generations.
Sometimes I'll get to work a little bit early and I'll finish listening to a podcast or something, but I don't want my car running. And so my car, when I turn the engine off, it automatically unlocks all of the doors.
Ooh, I don't like that.
So I don't like that either. And so I lock it, even though there's hardly anyone in the parking lot at that time, but you just never know.
You don't. People walk in the shadows every day. Doesn't matter if it's day or night. There are shadows.
And people hide in them.
And bad people are everywhere. We're not paranoid.
Yeah, because it's the whole, like, as soon as you start to feel safe somewhere, then it's like, oh, well, I don't need to lock my car when I'm just hanging out in my work parking lot because nothing's bad happened like before.
No one ever expects something bad to happen when it does.
Mm-hmm.
Or else there wouldn't be bad things that happen because everyone's on guard.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is what happens, you know?
Yeah.
When people are like least expecting it or when they're in their most vulnerable state. I mean, bad people are smart. Just wish they'd use it for better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't find any like murder stuff specifically from the back of cars. But I'm sure like that exact scenario or those two exact scenarios are considered urban legends via email
chain.
So like the other one is like older, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
the first one was older. But kind of still scary. It still makes you think about it.
Yeah,
and people still do things. Doesn't mean you're not, just because you weren't murdered doesn't mean it's not violating and scary, not scary. And you don't know what it could lead to. Yep. So keep your doors locked.
Always lock the doors.
Doesn't matter if you're in a house or a car.
All right. My stories are real.
And scary.
So my general topic going into this episode was hiding in closets. Bad people hiding in closets. And this is due to the more recent story, which people probably heard because it was on the news and everything, where the North Carolina college student, did you hear about her? Who she thought there was a ghost in her house? No, you haven't heard? Ooh, so that's cool. So I was going to lead with this story because that's that's the most recent one, and it's really creepy. So she's a college student in North Carolina. I think she had at least one other female roommate. And they thought that the one girl, I think her name is, Maddie. She thought there was a ghost in their house because weird things would go missing. Like a sweater would go missing. It was mostly her clothes. And she was like, that's weird.
She didn't blame the roommate first?
No, which I thought, maybe she did. And then there was kind of a fight. And she's like, I swear.
The roommate's like, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost. So she's like, she's like Minnesota. As she's zipping up her jacket, like, don't look at the sweater. So I think this went on for like a week or two when she hears something in her closet, and
oh my gosh,
she thought it was a raccoon because it was like rummaging noises.
A fashionista raccoon.
It was like, it's me.
The fashion raccoon.
And so her instinct is to ask who's there.
No.
So I think it's kind
of like a raccoon's gonna reply.
Like it's kind of like your car scenario where someone just starts talking to you, where I don't think she expected anyone to answer. So she's like, who's there? And then, so this is a quote from her. And somebody answers me and he's like, oh, my name is Drew. So then she opens the door.
What?
And she said, he's in there wearing all of my clothes. I don't think she meant like all
like
of her clothes. It's like he is dressed head to toe in her clothes. My socks, my shoes, and he had a book bag full of my clothes. So she's understandably freaked the heck out because there's this dude who ends up being, he's 30 years old. So she's college age. She calls her boyfriend first.
While he's still in the house?
Yeah, she's just talking to him. So, I mean, hindsight, probably should call 911 first. There's a man who's wearing all your clothes.
I mean, I guess that'd be a compliment, but yeah.
In your closet.
Not cool. You can never wear those again.
No. It's creepy.
What if it was
they probably take it for
stuff too? I'd really suck.
Yeah, they probably take it for evidence anyway, even if he gave it back to her. So I think she calls her boyfriend and then either then calls 911 or he does, because then she says she's waiting for help. She keeps talking to him to distract Drew, because it obviously, I think she kind of gets the feeling that maybe he's just not all there or something. Not necessarily
almost like sympathetic.
Yeah, not necessarily threatened. I mean, scared, but he just kind of seems to like her clothes.
Oh my gosh.
And so she says, and this is a quote too, like, he tries on my hat, then goes in the bathroom and looks in the mirror, and then is like, "You're really pretty. Can I give you a hug?"
Oh my god. It puts the lotion on the skin. Oh my gosh.
But then she said he never touched her.
Oh yeah, it's like, Drew, no, sorry, honey.
So the police come and arrest him, I think without incident, thank God. But can you imagine? And he just kind of seems to be like trying stuff on, like just hanging out. Like,
oh my gosh.
So he was charged with 14 felony charges.
One for each article of clothing.
Probably. Including larceny and identity theft.
Like trying to be her?
So I don't know if maybe he stole her wallet at one point, because it did sound like, because she thought there was a ghost. So he was in and out for a while.
Wait a minute. That is wild.
Yeah. So I don't know how he had, it didn't really say how he had access to her.
Well, because we don't know.
Like apartment, home, or whatever it was. So
he wasn't in there the whole time.
No, I don't think
so.
so.
She would have found.
You would have noticed him. I think she was at first just noticing clothes missing. And she caught him with like a bag full of her clothes. So I think he was kind of like, this is my next haul.
Oh.
Because he didn't want.
She must have had a lot of clothes.
Probably.
Because you didn't notice the actual closet. Just like one thing here and there.
Yeah. So that was just most recently in the news. So that's kind of all we have for the information.
I just realized something.
Oh no.
What if it was her laundry? So it's like she didn't notice because it was being taken after stuff she's already
like
worn.
Dirty. Ugh,
I feel like that makes it weirder and also more believable. On like some weird level.
Yeah.
Gross. Okay.
Yuck.
That's my portion of that. I made that up.
So let's see.
I feel like this is gonna get worse. That's like the happy one.
So there's a story from Oklahoma. This one is also really scary. So this happened to an 11-year-old girl. The article started with a quote from her and then explained what happened. So she says, "Every time I come into my closet or room or my bathroom or anywhere, I just think about it and how scary it was." So she was playing on her cell phone in her room. 11-year-old.
Like I always said the same thing.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, I was playing Snake.
At 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, on like the Nokia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that my mom let me have it, and she had a cheetah print faceplate.
Mine was blue with a Roxy sticker on the back.
Ooh.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't get a phone until I was in 8th grade.
Nice.
So
it was for emergencies only, and also Snake.
Yeah. And texting, you had to pay like 10 cents a text.
Per message.
And it was like, so she was playing on her cell phone in her, I'm assuming, room, when she sees a guy's reflection in the mirror. She just happens to look up, and there's a dude in the mirror.
That is my absolute nightmare.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, why?
So she started to scream. He was a 26-year-old man. He had originally fled from the police. It says on Sunday, so I'm assuming it was not also Sunday when he was in her room. And he okay, so
Katie's real grossed out.
Okay.
Brace yourself. Take a breath.
He was wanted. He had 2 felony warrants. I don't know. The article says that he emerged from her clothes.
No.
And was like, "Don't be scared, little girl."
If you have to say don't be scared.
Oh, I'm just the older dude in your closet.
Your closet.
And she sees him in the reflection.
Oh my,
So she starts screaming and the parents come up. Thankfully, she was not home alone. Then she's crying in the hallway, and she I guess either tells them what's happening, or the guy just appears, because it says the dad grabbed the guy, but he got away after a brief, quote, scuffle.
I was hoping they used that word.
And he fled with $100 of the little 11-year-old's birthday money.
Oh no.
Which, I mean, like, good for you. That's a pretty good haul for an 11-year-old. But
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, wait, what? She's so smart putting her money away.
So
sorry, what year was this?
This was, I think, 2017.
Oh, very recent.
Yeah. So they find this guy walking along the street the following morning and arrest him for the original warrants plus the burglary and escape from arrest.
Yeah.
So
And the $100.
yeah, they never say what he was originally wanted for, which, I mean, could have been anything. But
yeah.
At the time of the article, he remained in jail on $40,000 bail bond. That
picture.
The thought of just like, hey, I'm assuming she's like on her bed, like texting or whatever, and then hears a noise and then like looks up and there's a dude like peeking through her clothes and is like, don't be scared, little girl. Ugh.
I mean, I feel like all of these scenarios we talked about, we said it like a couple of times already, but it's just like if you're that person being a creep, how do you go about starting that? Like, is it better to be like, hey, like, I'm here.
She's been on her phone for like 5 hours and I really need to get out of this closet.
I really have to pee.
So.
Well, I'm glad he didn't do anything to her family.
I was trying to find more stories about specifically hiding in the closet.
It's so scary. Because there's someone in the closet right now.
Yeah. So in looking up stories for this, it's obviously very specific. So what I was getting a lot of was people living in other people's homes without them knowing. And so I went down that rabbit hole. Ooh. And that's where it gets really scary.
Free rent.
Yeah. So I found an article about 10 creepy stories of intruders living in people's houses without them knowing.
Oh, Katie, that gave me like the deep chills.
So I think one that's kind of interesting. Not
interesting?
Well, it's not as scary, but apparently in Ohio State University, there's like a group of dudes that were living in a house.
Like a frat house? I'm just laughing because I could see them wording it like that.
Off-campus housing.
Got it.
But it was several of them. 9 students. So the 9 students living in a house.
That's a lot of people.
Maybe it was a frat. But, so obviously that's a bunch of people. So people are in and out, whatever.
Oh, so you don't really, you kind of lose track of who's friends with who's.
And so they realized, like, there was kind of weird stuff where, like, I guess they were more clean than the person living, unbeknownst to them, because the microwave would be open, they'd say, or like cupboards would be open, which to them was weird. So I was like, okay, they must have been neat.
Kind of surprising, but okay.
Yeah, so that was the like reported incidences. They somehow just happened to find a locked door in the basement.
Wait. If your basement has a locked door, you should never go in your basement.
I know. So apparently they had always assumed it was the utility closet or like the power supply closet or something. I don't know if that's the same thing, but they just thought it was some sort of maintenance thing.
They're like, we're not going there.
The people who own the house, like that's the only people that need that. And so they eventually got the people who own the house to open it, because I guess they were freaked out enough about someone being in their house.
Like, prove it. Prove it's like the water heater or whatever.
Yeah. So when they open it, they find a fully furnished room with textbooks, pictures, and even a sink and a toilet. And so they changed the locks on the house.
But the guy wasn't in there.
So he was also an OSU student who they were only identifying as Jeremy, and that's in quotes. I don't know if that's his real name. He had the nerve to come back and ask those people, like, hey, can I get my books and stuff from the room?
College books are expensive, but I was picturing this being like an older guy wanting to relive college, but he's actually a student. Yeah. That's sad.
And so they let him get his stuff, and doesn't seem like he got in trouble.
I mean, it's kind of stealing / he's probably eating all their food.
Yeah.
Being rude, leaving the microwave and cupboards open.
Yeah, but it's funny because people that lived in the house had seen him, but they thought it was someone else's friend because he's obviously just another college student.
That is so funny. Sorry.
And he supposedly got a key from his cousin who had lived in the house the summer before. Whether the cousin was like another squatter kind of person.
Oh my God. It was
or
like
not.
inherited the key.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound like the people who own the house knew.
How did he get a toilet in there? Maybe it was like one of those little kid toilets that you just kind of like empty out.
Or at like one point the basement was like more of like a guest quarters. But I'm sure if the people who own the house didn't realize or didn't know about it at first, they're like, ooh, an extra room. And then some unknowing college student was probably like, I'm the 10th person. And
it's like on the lease agreement. Like, well, we knew about him. Sorry you guys didn't.
They're like, so like, oh, my friend needs a place to live. Like, oh, he can live in the creepy basement room.
Oh my gosh. He probably had the best sleep though.
Yeah.
Total darkness. Isolated from everybody else.
Had to be real quiet.
Oh my gosh.
There's also
wait, imagine him going to the why is that friend going into the basement?
Like, bye.
Like, how many conversations did they have? Sorry, I'm just like picturing. It's so possible.
Maybe they used the basement for storage or something because they knew that door existed. They just never checked it. There's also a story of some dude in the 40s who was, I think, homeless, and some dude, he somehow came across this guy's house and waited for him to leave, and then he basically lived in the attic for 11 months and would only come out obviously when the guy was leaving or, not there. But one time he thought he was gone, but he wasn't. He was only napping. And he ended up killing him and then going back and hiding. And they never figured out who it was. And so he continued to live in the house.
After the guy died?
Yeah. And I'm assuming it was abandoned because no one really lived. Like, there's no, like, selling of the home or something. And so people always thought it was haunted because they would, like, see things, and that kind of became an urban legend until the police were like, no, I think something's going on here. And so they had surveillance, and it wasn't until the guy like peeked through the curtain that they're like, oh, bleep bleep bleep, there's someone living there. And then that's how they caught him. So for almost a year, including while the guy was alive and then after he killed him.
So wait, was there more people moved in afterwards, or they just kept looking, like they set up surveillance to like?
I think they set up surveillance because there was so much like chatter in the neighborhood of like, oh, I saw a light on one time, or I saw this, and I think they were getting enough complaints that we're just gonna
suspicious.
Yeah, we're just gonna go figure it out.
You'd think that maybe if like, okay, like this is our last time ever coming to this house to investigate it. We are going to leave now.
Let me see. I think part of it was that they didn't think anyone could get into it's the attic. Yeah. So the door to the attic was so small that like a normal man probably couldn't have gotten into it. So they never really thought to check the attic.
The actual man-child.
But he was pretty thin and small.
Well, he probably wasn't eating much being in an attic.
Yeah, because he would only eat when the guy left.
And he's homeless? Before that?
Yes. Well, so apparently he knew the guy, but hadn't seen him in a really, really long time. And he had fallen on hard times. Mm-hmm. And so I think was going to go talk to this dude or something, but realized he wasn't home. And he was like, this is my way in.
He's like, hey, look at that little trap door.
Yeah.
Let's go up there.
Basically. So I thought that one was kind of creepy because that seems to be one of the longest.
But then he killed his friend. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really weird thing too. Of you supposedly know this person, so if you could just, maybe he wasn't good with words. He didn't think he could explain it.
Yeah, so let's kill them instead. There's always a way besides killing.
So I'll just say one more, which I thought was really creepy. So this is in Japan, and the whole terms of kind of ties back to the first story of the guy in the closet where he wasn't really living there.
Mhm.
He's just kind of coming back and forth taking her clothes. So this one happened 2008 in Japan. A 57-year-old man thought that someone was not constantly but repeatedly breaking into his home and taking food. But he didn't know how. He always locked all of the doors and windows.
Oh, that's the worst.
So he set up a surveillance camera that would send like images to his cell phone. He saw someone lurking around his home was the phrase. And he called the police, but when they arrived, all like his house was locked. So they're like really confused because there's someone in his house, but all the doors were locked from when he left. And so apparently when they looked around inside, there was a 58-year-old woman hiding in the closet. It turned out that she was homeless and had been living on the top shelf of his closet.
Oh my goodness.
For about a year.
How much?
For about a year.
Okay.
So can you imagine?
No, because that is the one place that I don't super investigate in my closet because I
know you have I
have a closet weird. I don't like closets
phobia
at all. They're not cool.
I know. I felt bad looking up these stories because like, oh boy.
I mean, but the thing is, the top shelf is usually the one place where you're like, nah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she had to have just been like sleeping there, not like living, because obviously when he's not there, she comes down and eats and
enjoys herself. But how does she? What is she, like old spider lady? Like,
and
how
she's 58.
How does she could be doing great things if she put those skills to better use?
I just imagine if this was like a horror movie, she's just like curled up in like the fetal position with like her hair like covering her, and then you just happen to look up one day and there she is
with the glowing eyes looking back at you in the or when you're when you're in the bathroom. Okay, I feel like this happened to everyone at some point. So this is the analogy. When you're in the bathroom stall and you like are looking out, like you're using the bathroom and you like look up outside of the stall and you accidentally make eye contact with someone who's walking past through that little tiny crack. Imagine he's in bed and he like makes eye contact with her from the top shelf and it's like, what is that? That'd be okay. I'm not being sympathetic to people who commit crimes, but I feel like I would be really scared as the person in the closet as well.
Because it seems like it's mostly people who just really need somewhere to live, and that's how they chose to find such shelter.
But how'd she get in to begin with?
He didn't lock his door one day. And
that's all it takes.
And they assume that she had been doing this in other people's houses.
Just like hopping houses.
So I'm assuming she probably just maybe would go down the street one day and like check for whose doors were unlocked.
Yeah. That's why you like your stinking doors, people.
Yeah. And I don't know why they wrote this, but the last sentence is, she avoided detection by being incredibly neat and showering regularly while he was away.
I was actually wondering about that.
So
like at what point, if these are homeless people, typically they don't smell very nice, that they would have to be showering to smell good.
But he was living by himself from what the little blurb talks about. So would she also then do the laundry?
Probably.
Be like, oh, I can't have my used towel hanging around.
Yeah. Or just keep it with her like a blanket.
Yeah, because you'd have to...
That's where all of our socks are going.
Oh, no.
Those missing socks. They're just putting them on their hands and feet.
Yeah, but if you like to be creeped out, I would read the rest of those stories because the scary part is that it seems like there's a lot of stories of people uninvited living in people's homes.
Uninvited and seemingly unafraid.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
But the good news, they don't seem to be violent or criminals in any other sense. So
doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, I guess that one guy killed the guy.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stories are just like, some stuff was missing and it's weird and this and that, and then they find the person like in their attic or whatever. I guess that's the benefit of houses around here. not many of them have attics.
Yeah, but they're still in the closet.
Yeah.
We also don't have basements, but
I feel like
goodness.
maybe someone could be living in our garage.
Yeah.
Because there's a doggy door and there's a bunch of crap. So that you could hide easily.
I was picturing like dog poop. Like a lot of dog poop in the garage. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate.
No, just like a bunch of stuff and
yeah.
boxes and
technically, yeah.
junk.
And that's the thing too. I feel like it's always this part really irks me, is that you do keep your doors locked. So then once they're in, they're like in.
Yes.
And you think you're safe, but you're not, because they're in there.
Yep.
Regardless of what you're. And all it takes is one time.
Yeah.
1 second of not literally a second, but one moment of, oh, it's fine this one time.
Mm-hmm. And someone's waiting to squat in your house.
I had heard about an episode like this. I feel like Karen covered it on My Favorite Murder, like in I Survived, where the girl, like a lady, was attacked as well.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, there was, and then there was also one where the person was living in the attic.
Yes.
But that might have been that first one that I talked about.
Yeah.
Because he was really skinny or something.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really familiar.
Like a weird crawl space that he like had perched himself in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they called him the Spider-Man.
Oh,
right.
I don't know.
I think so.
Is that where Spider-Man came from?
Yeah.
Hiding in people's attics. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay. So because of these stories that I've heard as well, I don't know about you, but when I'm home alone, at least I feel like I should do it even when my boyfriend is around, but he'll think I'm crazier than I already am. But I do this thing where I kind of like go room to room, like clearing it and the closets to make sure that there is nobody in there. Do you ever do that?
But I maybe should, because my room is upstairs and the other 2 rooms upstairs are unoccupied.
Ooh, see, I have to look in them. Not like I'm not in your house, but
no.
Stop what we're doing. We need to go check. But do you know what I'm saying? Like
that's what I was thinking, because I thought I heard a noise in what is my brother's old room
where the witch lived.
Oh. And I was like, it could be really easy for someone to live in that room, because we don't. I mean, I have my jackets in that closet.
The jacket closet.
But I feel like it would just be easy to duck under the bed.
Or the jackets.
No, because I would notice it.
Like, I realize these things when I'm home alone. And so I literally have to clear each room. Like, I'm a single woman police unit.
Do you
just
yell
like,
clear to your cat?
Yeah. And Yankee's like, wow. I have to clear the house. And we have this I've shown you that weird crawl space.
No, what?
In that room, the guest room, there's that little door. It's like an extra storage. So it's like our version of an attic, but you can, just talking about it creeps me out. So in that room, there's like a little door that's like maybe up to your belly button.
Nope.
For the average person. And you open it and you kind of have to like crawl under to
Ew,
get in.
no.
But then it's as tall as the roof, because it's like an extra storage space. And it's pretty deep. And I keep a flashlight in there so that the minute I open it, I can like inspect it.
I don't like that.
But we had a party not too long ago, and I stored all of our junk in there. And I have left it in there.
No.
That way there's no way for someone to there's like no way that someone would be able to hide in there.
Unless they were hiding amongst the stuff.
Amongst the junk, but it's very tedious. Don't tell me that. I told myself it's fine.
It's fine. You could lock it also from the outside.
Yes.
I think my brother has a weird crawl space in one of his bedroom, their like main bedroom. And because I never saw it, but it's like dirt or something. I don't know. It sounds really bizarre. I was like, oh, and you live there?
Like he has a garden in there? Are you sure it's not just like insulation?
I don't know. I'm scared to look at it.
Okay, yeah.
But maybe next time I go over there, I'll ask him to see.
Take a picture.
But I think when he was looking for places, there was like a condo or townhome that was way worse, where like a door opened to like a dirt tunnel. No, something like that. No. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna leave now.
Like the realtor's like, go in there, and like, how about not?
And then they go online to try to find the house, and it was never for sale.
Oh my gosh. A realtor murderer. I feel like that's a thing. I feel like there's been a movie about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, this crossed my mind today because I knew you were doing this topic, but I was like kind of scared thinking about it. I'm like, what if,
Oh no.
as like a little, a way to catch someone in your closet. This is ridiculous, but I think it's hilarious. Your closet? Yeah, kind of. Not booby trap it, but you know those like child protective, like those child locks.
Oh, yeah.
That we have on our freezers. Like you can at work where you have like the little clasp if you like clasp it so that the door can't open from the inside.
Or if they tried to, you would hear it.
Oh, that's worse. I don't want to. I almost don't want to know.
Or would you just get locks?
They would get locked in there, and then by the time that I clear it, I'd have them. I don't like closets. I don't know why. I'm just afraid of them. I'm afraid of seeing. Okay, this is it. I'm afraid of seeing creepy fingers outside the door, like nasty witch hands.
I know.
Opening the closet slowly at night, and then you know that thing where you're looking in the dark and you can't tell if things are moving. I'm afraid I'm gonna see that, and so I'm freaked out.
So you're more freaked out about paranormal stuff?
No, because I mean I've seen some people with witch hands, and they're regular humans, so.
So you're just afraid of people with bad hands.
And if they're homeless like these other stories, they probably have witchy looking hands.
Yeah.
Like long nails and maybe green. I don't know.
I almost went the paranormal route.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I had one paranormal story, actually.
About closets?
No, about cars.
Ew. Oh, I think I know.
Should I just...
You should say it. Yeah, so that's it for closets.
Dang, that's...
And there's a lot if you just Google it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not necessarily the closets, but the whole people hiding in your
living
home.
in closets.
Yes.
It's the most not okay thing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's not really... It was hard / I couldn't find any crime stats about the specifically hiding in closets, but then also in like squatters and stuff like that. There's not really... Or like that's what it would revert to when I try to Google it. It was like, what are squatters' rights? So I was like,
yeah, that's like a whole other.
But yeah, it's on the brighter side. If you're looking for a place to live, apparently it's kind of easy to live in squat in foreclosure homes.
And then you have rights.
Yeah, and then it kind of takes a lot of effort to get you out of it, which doesn't seem fair, but
yikes.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for those who are squatting in those houses.
Yeah, but
don't do that also, please.
If you don't want squatters in your house, just make sure you lock your doors. Maybe have security system, cameras. Lock the windows. I think people often overlook that.
Yeah.
Check your rooms that you don't often go into if you have those.
Clear them. But y'all clear so that if they do know you're there,
make sure
if
your
they
cat
are there,
is
they have time to leave. Like, I'm gonna find you. Better get out before I find you. I'd rather me not find them. Honestly, because then I'll be real traumatized.
Yeah,
forever.
But then if I felt like something was going on, where there was someone in my house or a ghost, and it was a person living in my house, I feel like I'd want to know. Like, if they thought I was on to them and they just up and leave, so all the, like, weird stuff just stops, I feel like I'd be, people would think I'm crazy, and then I would start to question if I am crazy.
Yeah, I
so
guess
maybe,
you're right.
Best case scenario, maybe you hear about it on the news that, like, your neighbor found a person in their house. Yeah. And you're like, oh, that's probably him or her.
Or people just stop hiding in closets.
Or they just mail you a letter later on, be like, oh, by the way, you're not crazy because I could hear you.
Oh,
I was living in your house. But I'm gone now, so don't be afraid.
I wouldn't believe them. I would think they're still there. That's the best way to pretend like okay, I'm gone now. Like,
I was having some hard times, but I got a job in a place, so don't worry.
And then you argue with your boyfriend about them eating all the Ben and Jerry's, and it turns out it was just Wanda hiding in the closet on the top shelf. I made up that name.
So,
what the heck? Okay. So this one is, I just was looking up stuff about the cars still. And this guy in Lincoln, Nebraska, he has been accused of hiding under women's cars and touching their feet.
Ew.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Ooh.
This one's worth it.
That is so disturbing.
His name is Jesse Johnson, and he's 20 years old.
Oh, that's sad.
He says, I just have this weird addiction and odd behavior. I don't know why.
Oh, no. That's like something he's going to end up cutting people's feet off.
I know. And a 48-year-old woman told police that when she was leaving the grocery store around 5:30 on a Tuesday, she noticed that there was a car running next to hers.
Uh-oh.
That was like unoccupied, which she struck as kind of odd.
Yep. She stole it.
Yeah, she's like, yes. Plot twist. No, as she got to her vehicle, she said that she felt, I wish I never had to say these words. She felt a hand reach out from under her car and grab her ankle.
No.
Yes. So I guess technically they're not wrong for saying they're hiding under cars, but that's
all he wanted.
He just wanted her ankle. She screamed, and a man, so this is her like account of it. She screams, and a man rolls out from under it, running off. Police later found him and have identified him as Jesse M. Johnson, even though he's not a murderer yet. He told the police that he didn't do it.
Oh.
And he didn't make any physical contact with her. I was hiding under the vehicle simply for the visual.
Oh, that's also not.
Like, that's okay. Like, that's how you know something is wrong.
That's
because
wrong.
They're like, no. I didn't touch your ankle. I swear. I was just looking at it.
I just wanted to look at them.
It was simply for the visual. Honey, just stop while you're ahead.
Don't.
Just deny all of it if you're going to deny it. To me, that's so bad.
That's so gross.
That's just... So, according to the police, when this article came out, it was the third time that he has been accused of doing this.
No.
Within the last year.
No.
He says that he doesn't... I almost feel bad for this guy, but he needs help.
He needs help.
He said he doesn't mean to scare the women, and he's never tried to hurt them. Yet. But, of course, police worry that this can escalate. Yep. So the police say that some of these people never move beyond what they're doing, similar to window peekers, back to the Peeping Toms one we've done, or Peeping Peters. And some, this is a quote, graduate onto bigger and worse things. Yep. Ugh. Gross. It's a fantasy, that really gross, awful fantasy. It's always concerning whether he's going to do something more serious. So they already know that this guy is doing this. He was ticketed by the police.
What for?
After a woman reported a hand reaching out from under her car and trying to grab her leg in an apartment complex. No. He had been out of jail only for 2 days. He had been out of jail for only 2 days after having been in jail for 7 days connected to another incident at a Walmart. No. That case is still pending at the time of this. The prosecutors are also seeking jail time after a judge fined him $150 for a similar incident at a TJ Maxx. Oh, no. You're not safe anywhere.
Not the Maxinistas.
Not the Maxinistas. And he said that he's been seeking help, and he sought help in the past, and he was seeing a counselor in 2014 before financial issues made continued treatment unaffordable, and then therefore resuming the ankle touching. And he hopes to find affordable counseling before he gets into further trouble.
He said that?
That's what the article said. It's not a quote, but he said, when asked if he thinks it will happen again, Johnson said, if I get the help that I need, no. So this is that thing, kind of like our Peep and Peters one, where the guy knew. Yep. This guy knows, so we need to do something.
And the fact that he's saying that, like, I'm getting help for it, it almost is like because he knows, like, somewhere maybe inside of him that it could lead to other things.
Yeah.
Like,
it's really, really sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
He has a foot fetish, but he now has taken it to the next level.
Because it's one thing if you just have that fetish, because it's not bad in it of itself.
It's weird, but it's not like, it's not violent.
He's interpreting it to then the way that I'm going to get to satisfy it is by going out in public and touching strangers.
But he's ashamed, so he's hiding.
Yeah.
But he still is taking that. And that's just the times he's been caught.
Yep. Because
I'm surprised he didn't get run. Maybe he was under his car.
Oh, and then like
Reached
swipes out.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, wow, that'd be pretty risky to get run over. But
Yeah.
this was. I mean, it was very premeditated.
Yes.
Ankle grabbing, and oh my gosh, just thinking about a hand reaching out from
that
underneath.
is so awful.
And here, you want to see his face?
Yes. Let's see if I am. Not what I was expecting. He looks like Elijah Wood.
Like a beefy football Elijah Wood. Like
Yeah.
maybe he did wrestling.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he wouldn't touch ankles. Is that rude to say? Like he
looks brooding.
Yeah, because he wants to be looking at ankles. It's just,
But also touching.
it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of Ed Kemper.
Yeah. Is that the shoes?
He had a shoe fetish of it.
The
He is a whole
heel.
other.
Is he the shoe one in Mindhunter?
Yeah,
Where
he's
they
the one who
brought him
loves high
shoes?
heels, and he
Yeah,
brings
yeah.
his shoe to get him to talk, which is just so not okay to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought that story was super disturbing.
And that was recent?
That was 2016.
Okay.
I mean, recent enough, and if that's just one person, not to say that it doesn't happen. So,
Yuck.
okay, so there's one last one. A lady in Florida, she's 48 years old. She was with her daughter driving in a car, and her daughter had a camera and took a selfie.
Oh, no.
So the daughter's in the passenger seat. She takes a selfie she takes 2 pictures because you can't just take one.
No, you have to take several.
And I believe she's taking it with a digital camera, a newer age one.
Oh, okay.
Trying to think what year this was.
If it's not a cell phone, probably like early 2000s.
Just realized that it doesn't have the year on this. I'll have it in a minute. But I found this on metabunk.org.
Metabunk.
It's a discussion under UFOs, aliens, monsters, and the paranormal from November 2016. This is the caption. It says Mother Melissa, but I think she's not. I don't think she's a nun.
Nun.
Or
Wait, aren't they sisters?
they're sisters, but who's mother?
Jesus.
I don't know. Mother Melissa Kurtz, 48 from Florida, has been sharing this picture with paranormal experts.
Oh, God.
After her daughter started taking selfies, and the ghost was captured in the shot. People were freaking out about this because it does not look. I mean, mind you, Photoshop is fantastic nowadays. People are very talented, but it doesn't look Photoshopped in the way that are like obvious things. So the quote from the mom was, "I didn't notice it until about a month later when I was going through my camera when taking pictures for something else. It was a real, oh my God moment. I was really shocked by it, incredibly shocked. I ran into the other room and said to friends who were staying with me, 'You have to see this.' Everyone was awestruck. I think it's very important to the world to see that picture because I know it's genuine and real, and we were the only 2 in the car."
No.
Yeah.
They were not.
Or like this particular person who did this article, because like on this website, they try to do, like, remember Occam's razor?
Mm-hmm.
The simplest explanation is the best, because people were really like perplexed by this and were upset. They had 5 explanations. So actually, what do you want to see the picture?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, though.
I feel like you should come over here though.
Oh, here I go.
Okay. Basically, it's a picture of the girl's face. Sorry, I was trying to describe it to Katie. It's really hard. So it's a picture of the girl's face, and behind her hair that's like blowing in the wind, there is a head. It looks like a little boy's head.
Oh, I was thinking an older man.
Or an older man. It looks like someone small. I almost want to
have it pulled up on my computer.
Okay. From Metabunk.
Mm-hmm.
So just go to the first picture where the
Where
red
it's
circle.
circled. Okay.
So
Oh, I can see like a little bit of the boy part, but at first I thought it was an older man.
Yeah, when you first glance at it, you're kind of like, oh, what am I looking at? And it kind of, at first I thought it was their mouth was kind of like frowning.
Yeah.
But then you scroll down, and so it's 2 pictures, one picture taken right after the other, where in the first picture, you don't see the boy.
Oh, ew.
In the second picture, you do. So now look closely behind her ear. There's actually 2 fingers being held up.
Oh, no.
So it looks like they're doing almost like a peace sign. Like their sweater is like over their, what is that, like the index finger?
Yeah, that's a sweatshirt.
So then the other thing they point out, if you get even closer zoomed in, the shirt of that of the boy or the whatever that is in the first picture behind her ear.
It is.
So it's almost like whatever that is has moved into frame.
Yeah.
To her right.
This has to be just that there was a kid in the background and it looks creepy.
So scroll all the way down above the one that's like the reflection, and you look at the forehead, and there's like a shiny spot on his forehead.
Yeah.
As if it's a real person.
I think it's a real person.
And okay, so the explanations they have for this is that 1, there was a boy in the car.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And Melissa lied about it.
I think that's what it is.
Number 2, there was a boy in the car, and Melissa and her daughter forgot about him. Number 3, there was no boy in the car. The image is of something else blowing around in the back seat. Number 4, it's a fake photo. And number 5, there was no boy in the car. It's a photo of something supernatural.
I mean, that's the funnest one.
Of course. And the thing is that they totally break it down in this article, but they're pointing out like the hairline is really odd. The shape of the head is super odd. The skin tone is strange. A lot of it doesn't make sense for being a real person.
Mm-hmm.
So which is why they think like it's possible it's just a weird angle of something else. But I stopped reading because I liked the thought of the paranormal part.
Yeah.
But when you look at it zoomed out, it is like super weird looking.
Yeah, and that's what like one of the first comments was that there is a kid in the back seat and notices that the person in the front's taking selfies, so they go over
like
to do the peace sign like in the background. But then they're like, but then they forget the kids in there.
That's weird. And it could just be a small old man.
At first I thought it was an old man, but now I kind of see the more like kid face. It has to be that there's a kid in that car.
That's what I'm saying. It's just if they really don't remember / if that really wasn't a thing, that is super bizarre. Katie is like picking at her mouth like kind of perplexed because this is ridiculous. And it was to the point where the lady posted pictures of her camera. It's like a nice Nikon camera with all of the like settings of the picture as it was taken, the before picture and the after picture, because clearly they're like freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no one has an explanation for it. And apparently like the angle of the sun that day, like everything else lines up with their story of like what they were doing.
It has to be a kid in the back seat.
Katie's the kind of person who cannot stand
not having answers.
Not having an answer, which is partly why I wanted to show you, because it's unsettling.
It is, because you can't see the kid's like shoulder or whatever in the first picture.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, is that the shoulder or is that the hand? Because now we're thinking it's the shoulder, but it's actually the shirt of the hand in the second picture.
I still think it's like a little kid.
It's also super creepy that her hair happens to perfectly lie over his eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's what's like really not okay.
Yeah, because you can't see the eyes.
I don't like when you can't see someone's eyes. It makes everything way freakier.
Yeah.
And you also can't see their mouth.
You can a little bit. Right?
Well,
Because it's
I think that's what they're saying is like, well, you can a little bit, but it's mostly their finger.
The finger.
We'll put this on the website. People might be irritated by our description, but you have to look it up because it's really bizarre. It's the explaining the ghost boy in the backseat photo.
You know what I could see too is that it was a kid in the car and they just thought it looked creepy enough to start this story, or like if they even didn't say anything initially of just like, look how creepy this photo is. And then people start like, oh my God, there's a ghost. And then they just never really corrected anyone.
Yeah.
And then they maybe liked the publicity.
So here's the thing. I didn't realize that this link was in there, but the Daily Mail did an article about it. Mm-hmm. And it describes what they, like, it's them recounting the story exactly. So I'm pulling that up now. This gets different. So the beginning of this, he came to warn us to wear seatbelts. Mother thinks ghostly boy sitting in the back of her car was a guardian angel. She believes that the paranormal experts found out it was the anniversary of a young boy who died on that same bit of road. Miss Kurtz, the mom, says that she wasn't scared about the suspected haunting, as she claims her daughter has always had paranormal things happen around her.
And the daughter wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
The daughter wasn't wearing a seatbelt. They're clearly driving because the selfie reveals that they're on the highway. Yeah, and like the mom I said earlier, she thinks it's really important for the world to see because she knows it's real and that they were the only two in that car. That she took.
Wait, scroll down to the next photo.
That's what I did. The pink.
No, there's another one. Isn't that the book that in an episode of That's Why We Drink, they do a listener story and like the one girl was in and they wouldn't even say the name of the creature or the
channeling
book.
Little demons. That's the demon baby. Okay, we've talked about this before. Holy cow, the story got way deeper and weirder because what the heck?
Yeah.
See, this is almost makes me think that it is fake.
Yeah, if she's like she's into that stuff.
That's what mom. Sorry, I'm being judgy. What mom lets her daughter have what is literally captioned as an evil book in folklore? I'm not going to say the name of it because I feel like that's bad luck. Holy cow. Ooh, she has amazing positive energy, so maybe the spirits are attracted to her.
No.
Oh, maybe it's the fact that she's been reading that freaking
the
book and summoning them.
She looks a little
This mom's in denial.
Yeah, what if they just let you go back to their house and it's just all crazy?
It's
just like conjurings.
What's that necklace she's wearing?
Probably some sort of evil.
It's like it's jaguar head. But anywho, she looks older than her age.
She does. Oh,
she is the queen of summoning and she's only like 13. I'm so glad we clicked this link. The mom says that she has a lot of contact with the deceased world through work we do at a cemetery.
No.
And she is very open to stuff like that. She is not scared of the supernatural or the occult.
Yep.
Harper doesn't see the picture as a big deal at all. She just says, "Oh, the one with the ghost, what's the big deal?" When I saw the date of the accident, I cried as we picked up that boy that died 1 year ago on this road on his way to the hospital. When I saw there was an accident and in that place, I choked up. She says her brother Timothy and his fiance died in a car crash in February of 2003 while she was pregnant with Harper, who is named after her brother's fiance.
Oh, God.
What if she like felt like there was a presence or something?
If she's into all that stuff.
She probably like read her little like summoning and then was like, here it goes. If you're there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking a picture now. Here we go. And then maybe she didn't wear her seatbelt to like, I could see that being a thing.
Taunt him.
Yeah. Oh, I could see that being a thing where like you do something like dangerous or risky in hopes of them wanting to connect. I knew someone who really connected with the dark side, like spirits and stuff. And she said, and I trust her, she's like, do not mess with that stuff because it is real. It'll mess up your life. And now she's super religious because she's like very scared of the opposite.
Yeah, she's seen stuff.
Anyways, sorry, this took a paranormal turn, but that's why I was kind of like not wanting to mention it. But then we mentioned the other.
Like, I mean, that's technically someone hiding in your backseat.
Yeah,
if it's
just
true.
not alive. Anyways, let's go to sleep now and walk to our cars while people grab our ankles and there's ghost children. I actually, when I drive, I freak myself out because I'll look in the rearview mirror and when I glance really quick, I don't know if it's like the angle of my back seat, but I swear I see something almost every time when I get in the car for the first time. Maybe it's,
do you wear your seatbelt?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I have like really deep chills right now and I feel like I can relate. I don't like closets. Why did we do this episode?
Yeah, this was not great.
We're sorry.
We're never gonna sleep.
The good thing is, the real true facts of it is that it's rare.
Yes.
To have someone like those situations I talked about. The urban legends. Like you said.
Yeah.
Thanks for
listening.
And we're sorry if we made you upset. because I'm a little upset. So
I'm scared.
And we were just talking to each other. But,
or are we? Selfie.
oh my gosh, this whole time there's like someone.
Anyways, good night.
Enjoy your
sleepless nights.
You're not paranoid for thinking of these things because you have been told them.
Correct.
But they are legends.
Mm-hmm. Just like us.
Mostly. We are legends.
What?
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.